5 News This Morning starts now.
Well, thank you for watching 5 News This Morning Plus, streaming live on the 5 News Plus Smart TV app. I'm Joe Ellison.
And I'm Tiffany Lee. Donations have been pouring in for the children of the couple that was murdered at Devil's Den. Coming up, the latest on the community support and what's next for the suspect now facing capital murder charges.
And as you're waking up this morning, you live in Fort Smith, you're under a Phase 2 emergency water conservation. Coming up, details on what you're being asked to hold off on for now. All right, it is 7 a.m. Let's get started. Good morning, Danny, with the weather. I hope we're waking up to a good one.
Yeah, waking up to a beautiful one out there. We're seeing plenty of that blue sky, especially in northwest Arkansas. For the River Valley, maybe not as much in some areas, but otherwise being a very nice way to kick off our Monday. Here's a live look across many areas here. We'll go to Bentonville here near Walton Boulevard. You can see that sun rising through a little bit of cloud cover out there, but for the most part in northwest Arkansas, seeing plenty of that blue and a little bit of orangish hue, and we still have a little bit of that wildfire smoke elevated, but I don't think it'll make too much of an impact for us today. In the River Valley, you can see a little bit more cloud cover. Here's a look at Fort Smith. You can see it's a little bit of that high elevated cloud cover, and eventually that will make its way through the area later today, and then we'll see more clouds build back in. There's that cloud cover you can see, especially along and south of I-40. Now, some of that northwest Arkansas not necessarily peeking through that thinner cloud cover. Sometimes it's hard to pick up by satellite, but you can see a lot of it's on the south end. So if you look south in the sky, you're seeing probably more cloud cover. If you look north, you're going to see some of that clearing. And eventually, we are going to be seeing more sunshine later today. Now, some of you in eastern Oklahoma are starting school, first day of school today. For those of you that are heading out, best of luck on the school year, teachers and students. 70 degrees for that bus stop forecast. Going to feel pretty comfortable with dew points only in the lower 60s. For recess, or those that do have recess, will be in the 80s. And then heading home, maybe a stray shower or two, around 90 degrees, but the vast majority of us are going to stay dry. The overall outlook for those still kind of avoiding summer, or I should say avoiding the school year just in the next couple of weeks. We are going to see those temperatures in the mid 80s for northwest Arkansas. We'll see that cloud cover build back in. For the River Valley, we'll be in the upper 80s, and maybe a couple of low 90s later this afternoon. Again, can't rule out that stray shower. If you are out there, spending time outside in the sun, make sure to ladder up that sunscreen. That UV index is going to be on the higher side, about 10.5, 11. That burn time as little as 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll talk a little bit more about how much more sunshine we'll see. Hint, there'll be a lot of it, as well as a little bit of heat on the way coming up in your full forecast. For now, we'll take a live look at traffic on this Monday morning. Take a live look along I-49 at New Hope Road in the Rogers area. Good morning to you there. Traffic moving smoothly so far on this Monday morning. Let's have a great week ahead. And we'll talk more about that full forecast coming up in just a little bit. Joe and Tiffany.
For that, Danny. Well, today we are learning more about the past of the suspect in the double homicide at Devil's Den State Park.
Yeah, Andrew James McGann is accused of killing Kristen Brink and Clinton Brink on a trail there. McGann grew up in Chicago and graduated from Fenwick High School in Oak Park, Illinois in 2015. According to people who knew him, he played on the football and baseball team there. A childhood friend of McGann said that he's unsure what happened to lead him to become a murder suspect.
What goes through your head is, the first thing you think of is how can someone possibly do this? And then a second thought makes you think, what went wrong? I just want to send my condolences to the family, like families affected, Arkansas, everything. It's just brutal.
McGann's arraignment in Washington County is set for August 25th.
And a fundraiser set up by the family of Kristen and Clinton Brink continues to exceed goals. The fundraiser, which began back on July 27th with a $6,500 goal. As of this morning, those current donations are over $73,000. It has a new $80,000 goal. The expenses, according to the page, are set to go to the funeral expenses and the daughters they leave behind.
You can catch up with developments in this case on 5 News Plus. Just text word plus to 479-785-5000. We'll give you instructions on how to download it to your smart TV.
Well, a surge in EBT fraud in Arkansas has left hundreds with their food assistance drained within hours of deposit. Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin has created a task force which will combat fraud with a group that looks at the EBT scams. He says that prevention is key for keeping the benefits in the hands of Arkansas families instead of criminals. The Attorney General also says reporting it will allow for their task force to grow their knowledge.
We want people to report this because as we learn the new ways that the EBT scams are being conducted, then we can do a better job of educating and updating what we're telling to the public.
He also says being vigilant about purchases and monitoring are two steps to make sure benefits remain safe. The AG's office says you can call them directly to file a report.
Well, if you live in Fort Smith, you're under an emergency phase 2 water conservation. On Sunday, crews responded to a major water main break near Phoenix Avenue and Airport Drive. An estimated 1 million gallons of drinking water were lost. Now the city is asking residents to conserve wherever they can, which means at this time, certain water usage is prohibited. It includes lawns, swimming pools, washing vehicles or sidewalks, and other outdoor areas. Lee Avenue in Fort Smith remains closed this morning, and the city said in a statement that the repair may not be completed until later today or Tuesday.
Well, just in time for the new school year, students in Rogers School District are getting a fiery new tool for learning, a real fire truck donated by a local fire department. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi joins us now to show us how this works. Good morning, Jacob.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. Look, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but school does start here at Rogers Public Schools in just over a week. School starts on August 13th. But for those that are taking classes right here at the Career Center here in Rogers, I know they're excited. They have that brand new fire truck donated by the Rogers Fire Department. And it's not just for show, right? It's used for hands-on experience to act as a workshop, so to say, that so students are best prepared for whatever career path really in this field that they want after high school. Now go ahead and take a look. This is video of that brand new fire truck that was donated by the Rogers Fire Department. School officials say it'll put to work in the district's medium and heavy truck program. It's a 1.5-year program, part of Rogers' career and technical education pathway. And starting this school year, students will get hands-on experience, which is running diagnostics on the engine, the transmission, and ABS systems. The truck is also going to help train future technicians on how to conduct Department of Transportation inspections and routine preventative maintenance, all which are critical skills for working with heavy-duty vehicles. And the program director says the donation is a game changer for the school district, giving students another real-world tool to help them discover a career path after graduation.
We want our students to be ready for whichever pathway they take after high school, and a big part of that is them getting in the shops, really getting on their feet in the classrooms and doing those hands-on experiences. And so things like our fire truck that was donated today by the Rogers Fire Department is really going to aid in that to ensure that our students are ready for those next steps.
And the district says that, look, just because you take classes here at the Career Center doesn't mean you're going to be a construction worker, doesn't mean you're going to be a mechanic, doesn't mean you're going to be working on these heavy duty machines. It's really, Young mentions that it's really to broaden these students' horizons, get them to see career paths that maybe they didn't imagine for themselves. So this is just another way that the district is trying to prepare these students going into the next phase of their lives. But I'll go ahead and send it back to you.
Thanks for that, Jacob. Well, in other news, with the closing of the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, a local NPR affiliate is launching an emergency fundraising campaign today. KUAF in Fayetteville is launching Bridge the Gap. The goal is to replace the federal funding that's been there for generations. Station General Manager Clint Schaff says that although they are in the wake of cuts, he's hopeful of how he's seen the community come together.
We're hearing from a lot of people. People are calling and emailing and asking, what can we do to help?
Well, the station says it provides essential services in rural areas, including emergency alert systems that warn of incoming tornadoes.
Well, coming up at the Daily Brew this morning, we'll talk about a Major League Baseball game that took place in a NASCAR speedway.
And Shakespeare was known to be a bit quirky, but this troupe is taking Romeo and Juliet to the next level using construction equipment. We'll have more on that. Well, trending this morning, the first Superman was debuted in 1938 by its creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Both writers were residents of Cleveland, which is considered Superman's birthplace. Reporter Maya Morita shows us how the city honored the superhero icon.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane.
Cleveland is finally honoring its most famous fictional character.
It's Superman!
Clevelanders gathered at the Superman Tribute Plaza to celebrate the $2.2 million monument of the Man of Steel and his creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, along with Siegel's wife, Joanne, the real-life inspiration for Lois Lane.
This is where Superman belongs, at the center of the city where he was created.
News 5 first brought the story to you in April of 2024, when the Siegel and Schuster's Society received approval for its proposed plaza. The group had raised funding since October to bring the plaza to life, shortly after the latest Superman movie was released, part of which was filmed in Cleveland last summer.
Nothing was done to honor them, and little was mentioned of them, unless they were autographing pictures that many people in Cleveland received.
And it was important to their families that Cleveland was a part of their story.
Legend has it that Jerry ran to Joe's house after staying up all night, creating the idea for Superman, to ask Joe to draw this. This idea for Superman, after it was drawn, sat in a drawer for 5 years.
And in 1938, National Comics, publications now called DC Comics, gave both Jerry and Joe $130, which is now about $3,000, for the idea that turned into a multi-billion-dollar character.
3 teenagers believed in themselves during the very discouraging years of the Great Depression in the 1930s and into the 40s a little bit. They stubbornly refused to take no for an answer.
Laura Siegel, daughter of Jerry Siegel, says her mother never gave up on the idea of a Superman statue here in Cleveland.
This was my mom's concept at the time. She just asked for a little park to honor Siegel and Schuster, and at its center she envisioned a meditation area where people could quietly reflect on what Superman meant to them and to think about their own inner superpowers.
And now that dream has become a reality. The statue sits outside of the Huntington Convention Center on the corner of St. Clair Avenue and Ontario Street.
This statue is a reminder to every child who walks by that greatness can begin anywhere, especially in Cleveland. And so I'll leave you with these words that still ring true after nearly a century. Dreams save us.
Well, on this Monday morning, we'll take a live look at traffic this morning. So far, no incidents to report, so good news, obviously, as we kick off the first Monday of August. Here's a live look along I-40 at exit 55 in Clarksville. Good morning to you there. A little bit of orange on the horizon, and could see a little bit of that wildfire smoke still elevated. Not expect to have any issues for us near the surface, but something to keep an eye on. Otherwise, there's a live look along I-49 at the US 71 interchange in Fayetteville. You can see a little bit of that orange hue as well. I mean, yes, it is also the sun, but it's mixing in a little bit with some elevated wildfire smoke, as well as a little bit of that thin cloud cover. So eventually that smoke will move out later today, and overall we'll have a pretty nice day in store. 63 degrees currently in Fayetteville. It feels nice out there. It feels more comfortable, and the dew point being lower is kind of the key to that, especially during the overnight hours. Dew points are only in the low to mid 60s for us this morning. Visibility a little bit reduced in some areas, especially in the low-lying areas and along any rivers. So yeah, be mindful of that as you're walking out the door. Not any dense fog we're seeing, but a little bit of fog at that. Now, as I mentioned, that air quality is okay. It's moderate, so it could be a lot worse, but it is still a little bit down from the green, that good that we want. Well, thanks, Danny. Saying the obvious, but we just want to get in that green. And that green eventually will be here. You can see surrounding us we're okay, and eventually that smoke will clear out from the east. There is quite a bit still in the Great Lakes area from the Canadian wildfire smoke up in Alberta. You can see a little bit there at the top of your screen. All of that is flowing down to the Great Lakes region and pushing off to the east to the New England area. But what we're going to have to watch for is off to the west near Arizona, as well as the west coast. There's some wildfires brewing there right now, and due to the fact that the flow, the upper pattern of the atmosphere is steered towards us, we're going to be seeing some of that. Notice that high pressure right here, basically on the Arizona-Mexico border. It's spinning that air clockwise, so that smoke will rise, hit the middle of the atmosphere and says, all right, wherever you're going, I'm going too. And notice these arrows. Watch, they kind of just steer around the Rocky Mountains and then drop right towards us. So eventually, some of that will make its way here in the next couple of days. So you notice some of that elevated smoke will clear out. And again, you see this light blue. It is technically on the scale, but again, not expecting much out of this. We should see plenty of that blue sky, not too much of a concern. However, by Tuesday afternoon, here's 5 o'clock, moves in through eastern Oklahoma, and then through the rest of Arkansas. And then notice by Wednesday early morning, you're seeing some of that thicker smoke start to arrive on our western edge and continue through at least the day on Wednesday. And we could maybe see some air quality reduction there. So it's something we're keeping an eye on. Make sure to keep you updated on. The reason why we can't show it any further is because it stops. The data stops 48 hours out. So we'll have to see as we get closer. We'll see a little bit better of that range. In terms of what's happening on the surface, well, not too shabby. As I mentioned, those dew points today are in the low to mid 60s. They'll rise a little bit, especially in the River Valley later this afternoon, but really not too bad. Wednesday will be a little bit higher, and then Thursday and Friday will be anywhere from the mid to upper 60s, maybe a couple spots close to around 70 on Thursday and Friday. So not as bad as it was last week and end July, but still pretty muggy. And with that, combining with high temperatures slowly rising, we're going to see those heat indices become a factor. Today and tomorrow, not too much of a factor, low to mid 90s, so that feels like in the River Valley. Wednesday, though, we could get around 100, but then Thursday and especially Friday into the weekend, some of those triple digits returns, we could see that peak heat index anywhere from about 100 to 105. So you saw that cloud cover this morning. You're seeing most of that start to clear out now. We will see some sunshine to kick off our day, and then we'll see clouds build back in. Right now, we're kind of in a quiet zone, or a little bit of a lull, because that cold front that moved through on Thursday is still now sitting here in the Gulf and eventually will make its way eastward. Nice little storm complex there in Texas. We're not expecting to see any impacts of that. That is due to that northwest flow. Remember on the smoke impact, that northwest flow basically steered that storm there, but we're not going to see that. What we are going to see is eventually this front is going to make its way to the east, and behind it is going to bring in some of that warmer air. And since there really is no kind of lifting mechanism for storms, we're going to stay pretty quiet in terms of any of that, maybe some stray pop-ups. We'll show you that here on Futurecast. Notice later this afternoon, we will see clouds build back in. And you notice, not expected to be a ton. Don't cancel any plans over it. Most of us stay dry, but something to definitely keep an eye on and say, hey, check the radar every now and then. I think the highest probabilities will be in the higher terrains, but most of us stay dry. We'll continue that chance for us tomorrow as well as on Wednesday, especially Northwest Arkansas. I know it's 10%. Again, vast majority of us are going to be like, what rain? Exactly. High temperatures otherwise are going to be on the rise. Will be in the mid-90s for some by Friday, Northwest Arkansas, with dew points a little bit higher. Again, that triple-digit heat index could be expected, especially in the River Valley, where high temperatures get close to 100 on Friday. We'll keep that heat into the weekend. Our next best chance of any organized rain would be Sunday, but the vast majority of us stay dry for much of this week.
Well, it was a history-making moment in Bristol, Tennessee. For the first time ever, a Major League Baseball game took place on the Bristol Motor Speedway. Can you believe that?
That's pretty cool.
I know. In front of more than 85,000 fans. Take a look. The largest to ever witness a game like this turned out as the Atlanta Braves took on the Cincinnati Reds, which the game was supposed to happen on Saturday night, but rain played a bit of a delay in that in the first inning, and it was suspended until Sunday. The Braves won the game 4-2.
That is such a big stadium. You said 85,000 people were there, and you see how many spots are left open.
Right. How cool is that? And then you got the stock car going around.
I love that.
Flag.
That is so fun. How cool is that?
Yeah.
That would have been really cool to go and see.
Yeah, it really would. It kind of reminds me of like how they're exploring different venues. The Field of Dreams game was in Iowa, basically in our backyard where I used to work in eastern Iowa, in Dyersville, Iowa. Shout out to Dyersville. So, the Field of Dreams set. Have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so they went to that spot where Kevin Costner was and the baseball player, and they brought an MLB game there. And it was really cool. They played in the corn, like literally a home run, like it went into the corn stalks. So it was really cool, and it's cool that they're expanding this. Like, I know some of the views might not be great, but it is just cool to put it in different venues, and maybe for NASCAR fans to be like, oh, well, I watched races there when I watched a baseball game.
Yeah, this is part of baseball's effort to expand its reach to a wider audience. And, I feel like baseball's doing everything they can right now. Like, you have those fun leagues, like the bananas.
The Savannah Bananas and the party, what are they, the party animals? Or
Party animals.
Like
and I love their TikTok videos, like what they're doing. They even do some like during the game while they're playing it. It's fantastic.
They're selling out stadiums too.
Yes, the Savannah Bananas are doing really well, and it's tough because baseball, they don't do a great job, I will say, of marketing their stars. Like, would you guys say you know who the best player in baseball is right now?
No.
Do you know who LeBron James is?
Of course.
That's the problem. Marketing in baseball is not great. Like Shohei Ohtani is doing stuff that hasn't been done since Babe Ruth.
I feel like
and
I
it's
knew
hard.
the one who was engaged to J-Lo for a while.
Oh, Alex Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Rodriguez,
see, he's well retired. He's actually the owner of the Timberwolves. Anyway, it's just tough. So I think that's a good way of hoping marketing it to wider audiences, like Joe said, and hopefully get more fans because I love baseball. I think it's a good sport, but
Yeah.
you know, obviously Arkansas fans love it.
Well, I think
but
it's hard
tough.
too, right? Because baseball, you know, not everyone has a pro team that
Right.
they're cheering on.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a lot of places, like, they might not get as invested
Yeah.
in a college baseball team as they would a college football team. Not here in Arkansas. We're very invested in college baseball, but that's not the case for everyone.
Yeah, and I think too with a younger audience, you know, it's the attention. I hate to say this, but the attention span. You know, people are standing around like, oh, it's so boring. So there's been efforts to speed up the game with pitch clocks and all that, and I think it's working. But still, marketing I think is a big part of that because not marketing your biggest stars is a problem. Because
Yeah,
like basketball and football, you know the biggest stars. You know Patrick Mahomes. You know
Well,
LeBron
people go
James.
to games just to see that person
Right.
play, not even necessarily to cheer on that team.
Right, and baseball is more of a team-driven sport. So it's how do you market the biggest stars?
Well, and I think it's hard too because you think about pro sports, like you followed your person all through college, and in basketball, football, you'll at least see them on the bench, whether they're getting to play or not, right?
Yeah.
But you have a team to cheer for immediately. And these MLB players, they get drafted, but then they're in the minors for years.
Yeah, and they may not even make the majors.
Exactly.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some very, very talented athletes, so I hope they find a way to market it a little bit better and
Yeah.
get people interested because
sure.
it's worth it. It's a fun
Yes.
time. All right, a troupe in Estonia is using construction equipment in their rendition of Romeo and Juliet, where organizers say they love the contrast of these huge machines and the gentleness of the play. So a bit of a unique twist. I kind of feel like Shakespeare, anything Shakespeare, people are going to redo it to infinity, right? Like all kinds of different ways to do it. And this is one way. Let's take a look. This was around two lovers fated to only be apart in death.
I would still say that even though it was cars, it felt really sweet and cute. Like when you had the scene where the cars were kind of probably kissing, you would assume. The energy was captured really well, and it captured the sweetness and the love, which was really nice as well.
Okay, there,
Here it is.
finally. You get to see it finally. Okay, so these are
Wait,
kind
they
of
were talking about it so inspiring. I don't know what I was imagining.
I know. So, I mean, you got, you know, the original, you got all the movies, the spin-off of Romeo and Juliet. You have the Leonardo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet. But to see it done this way, I mean, why not, right?
This is kind of hilarious. I love it.
I mean, also, shout out whoever wrote the banner. Is OSHA a thing? Or did we say this is in Estonia?
Estonia, yeah.
Is OSHA a thing in Estonia?
No.
Amazing. Incredible. I want to see it.
No, all right.
We got to get tickets.
Stay with us.
This is a 5 News Update.
Good morning. I'm 5 News meteorologist Danny Cassis. You're headed out the door this morning. It feels great out there. Temperatures right now are in the low to mid 60s, and we'll continue that for the next hour or so. We'll jump up quite a bit, though, with how kind of drier the air is, at least relatively speaking. So we'll be into the mid 80s by this afternoon and topping out in the mid 80s for northwest Arkansas. For the River Valley, we'll see those temperatures right now are close to 70. We'll get in the low 70s in the next hour or so. And by this afternoon, we'll be in the upper 80s and low 90s with partly cloudy skies. We'll clear out some of that cloud cover this morning and then eventually give way to sunshine later this afternoon, and then it'll develop back more into those kind of puffy cumulus clouds and maybe seeing a stray shower. So we'll show you that here on Futurecast. Some of that morning cloud cover will clear out and we'll see some sunshine. And then you're starting to notice the puffy cumulus start to develop back in, and with that we could maybe see a stray shower. When I mean stray, I mean stray. Like it'll probably be something like this. Not to say it's going to be exactly here in northwest Franklin County, but it's of that nature. The vast majority of us stay dry. Shouldn't really cancel any plans. It is going to be very nice. Again, maybe a stray shower. That might feel pretty nice. The same thing will continue for the day tomorrow. We'll have mostly clear skies tonight. Start out with some sunshine tomorrow. Then during the afternoon, those puffy cumulus clouds develop. Maybe a slightly better chance. You can see it shows up a little bit more. I don't have to necessarily point it to you. But again, for the most part, we stay dry, mainly in the higher terrain areas for that rain chance. And it's a pretty nice day today and tomorrow. Overall for today, high temperatures will be in the mid 80s in northwest Arkansas, upper 80s and low 90s in the River Valley, and maybe that stray PM shower. And we'll have very light winds as well, but it feels comfortable. But that heat will build later throughout the week, so something to keep an eye on or keep note of as we go throughout the week. Hey, if you're watching us on CBS and you're watching CBS this morning, we are currently over on 5 News Plus, continuing 5 News this morning plus for the next half hour. It streams every morning from 7 to 8, so come join us here in the next half hour.
Five News This Morning starts now.
Well, thank you for joining us on 5 News Plus this morning. Hope you're off to a great start. 7:30 on this Monday, and it's been a beautiful day so far.
Yeah, definitely has been. Some of the stories we're working on for you today, donations have been pouring in of the children of the couple murdered at Devil's Den. We'll have the latest on that community support and what's next for the suspect now facing capital murder charges. And a unique fire truck sparking curiosity and hands-on learning while transforming into an unlikely classroom. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi will join us live within minutes to explain. All right, but first we got to get a check of that weather for you today. Danny, we're looking for good news.
Yes, and good news I'm going to provide. It's going to be very nice for us today, very similar to what we saw this past weekend. Dew points are lower in the low to mid 60s. We'll see some sunshine, and rain chances are pretty minimal, but they are there. later this afternoon. Otherwise, right now 63 degrees currently in Fayetteville. That dew point is 62. Very nice out there. Maybe a little bit of fog, especially in any low-lying areas, but for most of us, we're seeing that clear condition, especially in northwest Arkansas. We're seeing plenty of that blue sky. Here's another live look in Poto, 70 degrees there in eastern Oklahoma. Dew point of 66, so a little bit higher, but still not too shabby. Seeing a little bit more cloud cover, but again, nothing too crazy. And those in LaFleur County, including possibly the Poto schools, this is the first day of school, so good luck to everyone out there. Weather should be great as you're heading out the door. Now, currently on satellite and radar, you're noticing that cloud cover is clearing out from northwest to southeast, so we will see that eventually clear out later this morning. Then behind it, more puffy cumulus clouds will develop during the afternoon, and while it's not going to pose any threats to us, you maybe could see a stray shower or two during the afternoon hours. Otherwise, for northwest Arkansas, high temperatures today will be in the mid-80s later this afternoon. Get dew points in the low to mid-60s, so very little of a heat index, if any, and we'll keep that wind very light. For the River Valley, more of the same. High temperatures are going to be in the upper 80s and low 90s, maybe a stray shower chance during the afternoon. Vast majority of us, though, do stay dry, and we'll keep that light wind as well. So as we go throughout the day today, here's what we keep an eye on. It's going to be a very nice start. We'll see, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s today, into the upper 80s and low 90s for the River Valley. We'll eventually gradually warm up. So what I mean by that is today for highs, we're going to be in the mid to upper 80s, as I mentioned. Then as we get later into the week, we're going to be more in that upper 80s, low 90s range. And eventually by the end of the week, we're going to be in the low to mid 90s, some in the River Valley in the upper 90s. With that, maybe we could see a spotty rain chance for some. Now, I think chances are going to be very minimal, but something that we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on because don't want to ruin any plans, but again, most of us are going to stay dry, and it should stay very spotty. So it's something we're going to talk about here coming up just a little bit in your full forecast. For now, we'll take a live look at traffic for you on this Monday morning. Take a live look along Highway 412 in Siloam Springs. Traffic moving smoothly there so far in the region and all across the 5 News coverage area. More on that 4 forecast coming up in just a little bit. Joe and Tiffany.
Heads up for drivers in Fort Smith. A sewer line replacement has closed the northbound lanes of Highway 71B from McKinley Avenue there to Zero Street. Now, if you're traveling this way, going to work this week, you will be rerouted to north there on Zero. So you may just want to use Zero your entire way. The city expects those lanes to reopen on Friday. All right, this morning we are learning more about the suspect in the Devil's Den double homicide, Andrew McGann. You'll remember that happened this past weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video here that we have of the state park. McGann, as you know, is facing 2 charges of capital murder in the deaths of Clinton and Kristen Brink. Police say McGann does not have an adult criminal history, but we do know that he grew up in Chicago, graduated from Fenwick High School there in Oak Park, Illinois back in 2015. According to friends, he played on the football and baseball team there. A childhood friend of McGann said that he is unsure what happened to lead him to become a murder suspect.
Obviously a shock, like everyone knew him. All the guys that hung around here, we all knew him, so it's quite a shock. We played baseball, football. His old man was my coach, We all knew him, just neighborhood guy.
Well, McGann's arraignment in Washington County is set for August 25th, but according to the county prosecutor, Brandon Carter, it may be moved up a bit sooner.
Well, a GoFundMe made to help the Brink family has so far raised thousands of dollars to cover the funeral expenses and to help the couple's 2 children who were there that day but unharmed. The goal has been met and exceeded 7 times since it first started, and as of this morning, the amount raised has exceeded $73,000. We have more about the GoFundMe and how to make donations to help the children that they leave behind. You can find more on that on our website, which is 5newsonline.com. And a fatal crash over the weekend in Sequoyah County caused westbound I-40 to be closed for more than 13 hours. 69-year-old John Bean died in the crash. The interstate closed early Sunday morning and happened between Muldrow and Sallisaw. We'll keep you updated with any information on what caused the crash as it comes into the newsroom.
And an Arkansas law is opening up the door for new testing in the West Memphis 3 case. It's a big one here in Arkansas. Let's check out this report by Catherine Rowley.
Arkansas Act 1780 allows people convicted of a crime to seek post-conviction relief based on new scientific evidence that could prove their innocence. Damian Eccles brought this to a Crittenden County judge. That case made its way all the way to the Arkansas Supreme Court decision that reversed the original ruling. In the agreement signed on Friday, the state agreed to send the ligatures, hairs found at and near the scene, in for testing. In total, there are about 15 different DNA samples that were collected from the crime scene that are now going to be tested. Also in that order, the hair of Terry Hobbs, the stepfather of Stevie Branch. I asked Patrick Banca, Damian Eccles' attorney, how significant this order is for the DNA to be tested. He said that it starts the process of having those ties tested by this new method of DNA extraction and believes that the killer or killers could be identified upon the completion of the testing. He also said that this ruling paves the way for those who have been trying to prove their actual innocence.
Well, that was Catherine Rowley reporting. Now, the next steps in this case is that DNA would have to be delivered to the crime lab within the next 10 days. If that happens, we could see results come this fall.
Well, today, Travis Posey will be sentenced for the June 2024 shooting at the Mad Butcher grocery store in Fordyce. Posey pleaded guilty last week to 4 counts of capital murder and 11 counts of attempted murder. Now, during the attack, he used a shotgun to open fire on customers and employees, killing 4 and injuring 10, including 2 police officers. The shooting shut down the town's grocery store for nearly 2 weeks.
Well, right now, crews are on and in the ground in rural eastern Oklahoma, where a lot of internet access, it's pretty limited. They're hoping to update that.
Yeah, 5 News reporter Emily Moss joins us with how they're doing now.
It's no secret, just about everything is done online nowadays, whether it's scanning a code for a menu at a restaurant or completing an assignment at school. But the Oklahoma Broadband Office says for far too long, rural Oklahomans have missed out on an opportunity because they didn't have reliable connectivity. And now that's about to change.
You shouldn't be penalized because of the zip code where you live.
Widespread, faster internet is coming to southeastern Oklahoma with money from federal grants and donors totaling over $58 million.
It used to be considered to have high-speed internet a luxury. Not anymore.
Oklahoma Broadband Office Executive Director Mike Sanders says rural Oklahoma has been left behind in the digital age, with high costs for independent internet expansion in small communities.
It is more expensive to reach those particular customers. Fact is that rural areas of Oklahoma have been left behind for way too long.
But now, projects are underway across the state, including in LaFleur, McCurtain, Choctaw, and Latimer counties, to get all of rural East Oklahoma online.
The fact is that whether you live in Heavener or Howell or Cameron, Poteau, you should be able to compete with kids who live in New York City, Dallas, or Los Angeles.
From schools to local businesses and more, Sanders says bringing Eastern Oklahoma up to speed will help everybody succeed.
When you break it down even more to what this will mean and changing lives and changing the trajectory, if you will, of how people live in Oklahoma, it's going to be a life-changing.
The project is set to be complete by October 2026, with $30 million invested in LaFleur County alone. Covering news where you live, Emily Moss, 5 News.
All right, thanks for that, Emily. Well, as students in the Rogers School District are getting ready to go back to school, there's going to be a surprising new learning tool this year in the school district. A fire truck.
Yeah, let's check in with 5 News reporter Jacob Luley joining us live in Rogers with more on this unlikely experience. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Tiffany. Yeah, that fire truck is actually parked right behind these garage doors right here at the Career Center here as part of Rogers Public Schools. And it's going to be part of the medium and heavy truck program here at Rogers. And what that does is it allows kids here to get the hands-on experience of really what it's like to be working in a workshop while also getting classroom instruction at the same time. And this program is about 1.5 years. And really what that's going to do is that when they graduate when they graduate high school, they're going to be ready for entry-level jobs. Now go ahead and take a look. This is the truck that was donated by the Rogers Fire Department. The district says that any student from 9th through 12th grade from any of the high schools in the district can participate in programs right here at the Career Center. And starting this school year, students will get hands-on experience running diagnostics on the engine and the transmission and ABS systems. The truck is also going to help train future technicians on how to conduct inspections and routine preventative maintenance, which are all critical skills for working with heavy-duty vehicles. Charles Lee, he's the Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Education. He says programs like this one help prepare students for various career paths after high school.
Being able to have that skill set and to graduate high school and go right into workforce, you're going to be able to provide for yourself, your family in the future. It's just a great opportunity for a lot of kids who may not have that higher education in their plans for the future. So this gives them an opportunity to learn something that can be a part of the workforce right now as soon as they graduate high school.
Not to be the bearer of bad news, but school does start on August 13th. That's just over a week from now. And again, not only do they have programs like this, they have construction programs, they have welding programs. There's a whole variety of programs here at Rogers Schools that maybe people are trying to finalize that school schedule for next week. Maybe you can take a look at some of those classes. Definitely some interesting opportunities for people heading into the workforce after high school. Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
All right, thanks for that, Jacob. Well, if you live in Fort Smith, you're under an emergency phase 2 water conservation.
Yeah, on Sunday, crews there responded to a major water main break near Phoenix and Airport Drive with an estimated 1 million gallons of drinking water lost. Now the city is asking people to conserve. At this time, certain water usage is prohibited, which includes watering lawns, filling up those swimming pools, washing vehicles, sidewalks, or other outdoor areas. The Water Utilities Director says the likely cause of the issue was age. He tells us the city is working to upgrade aging systems, but it's a long and costly process.
We do try to replace them on a regular basis, but that is a large capital investment for the citizens. So we are mindful of that, and hopefully we get to them before we have a burst like this, but things happen.
Lee Avenue in Fort Smith remains closed, and the city said in a statement that the repair is not expected to be completed until today or tomorrow.
Well, coming up, this dog at the University of Wisconsin isn't just turning heads, it's helping students learn. We'll have more on that in minutes.
First, a live look outside in Springdale. Good morning to you there. It's 7:42. We'll be right back. Well, hey, welcome back. The University of Wisconsin has a new robotic engineering major. And unlike an old dog, these students will use a robot dog to teach them new tricks. According to student researchers there, it can walk upstairs, backwards, even shake hands and stand on two legs. It's meant to be worked on and changed as students continue to learn skills. The dog can be reconfigured, whether it be for programming, reasoning, or hardware lessons. The university hopes it will translate to skills that are meant to help people in the future.
My favorite thing that the robot dog is supposed to be able to help with is helping autistic children with like socialization. And then also anyone who's bedridden or can't do certain tasks. It has like a robot arm, and hopefully will make some other attachments to help them with any of their needs.
Researchers say the world will look very different in 10 years, and they hope to get the next generation of scientists interested in assisting others. An AI-generated video of bunnies on a trampoline. Have you seen this before? It went viral this week. You've probably seen the other animals as well, just fooling people online. It's part of a growing trend of videos styled to look like surveillance footage. Don't let it fool you. The CBS News confirmed team breaks down why they're so convincing.
You may have seen this video over the past week. It's racked up more than 180 million views on TikTok and spread across social media platforms. But the video is actually AI generated and appears to have fooled a lot of people online. One person in the comments said, "This is the first AI that has ever got me." So, where did this video come from, and how did it dupe so many people? The earliest version we could find was from this TikTok account, which has a history of posting AI-generated content. We showed the video to digital forensics experts at Get Real Security, who said it was made in part with Veo 3, Google's new AI video generator. Experts say there are many reasons why this was so believable. Surveillance footage provides a sense of authenticity. Before AI became popular, security footage was viewed as a reliable record. Social media users also scroll through their feeds quickly. They usually don't take the time to evaluate if something is real or fake. Mix that with content that appeals to your emotions and algorithms designed to push viral videos, and you've got a social media sensation. But this video isn't perfect. There are actually several signs it's AI generated. At the beginning of the video, you can see a pair of ears stick out of a bunny's backside. They morph briefly before vanishing. And here, one of the bunnies disappears completely. And there are also a few movements that just look off. Experts say videos like this are part of a wider trend of AI-generated content designed to mimic surveillance footage. As these types of videos get more realistic, it's crucial to think critically about what you see online. Layla Ferris, CBS News, New York.
Well, if you're a fan of the outdoors, today is a perfect day to visit a national park in honor of Great American Outdoors Day. The National Park Service will be waiving the entrance fee to any of its parks. It's to commemorate the 5th anniversary of the Great American Outdoors Act, which was signed into law by President Trump in 2020. It's said to have helped support large-scale infrastructure projects and even renovations at campgrounds all over the nation, like Yellowstone and Yosemite. And Teddy, it would be a great day to visit one of our Arkansas state parks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be beautiful for us today. Very similar to this weekend. Some sunshine, not too much of a heat index. It's going to feel pretty nice out there to kick off our work week. Here's a live look along I-40 at I-49 at the interchange there and near Alma. Looks good there. No traffic incidents report so far on this Monday morning. Let's keep it that way. Here's a live look along I-49 a little bit farther north into portions of Rogers near the AMP. You can see traffic moving smoothly there so far. Maybe a little bit of a hue in the background there. We still have a little bit of wildfire smoke, but it's elevated. Otherwise, so far for us today, it is feeling pretty nice. 64 degrees currently in Rogers, a dew point of 61. We will take that close to the upper 50s for those dew points. Again, that's pretty rare for this time of year, especially with how much rain we've had. So we'll definitely take that. And with a light northeast wind bringing a little bit of that drier air, it's certainly helping us out feel very comfortable. Now, as I mentioned, some of that wildfire smoke is here. It's elevated, but is providing a moderate air quality for us. That's okay. We want it to be in that green, that good. And eventually, I think it will. You can see we're surrounded by all of that green. So all that smoke in the Great Lakes region will stay off to the northeast, but this is due to the Canadian wildfire that's continuing to burn and blow that smoke into portions of the northeastern corner of the state, or the country, excuse me. Now, we are watching the potential of some wildfire smoke near Arizona, near the Grand Canyon region, as well as the West Coast, to lift and eventually make its way here in a portion of the 5 News coverage area. You notice, due to the location of this high pressure, this is in the middle of the atmosphere. That smoke will burn, obviously, and rise, and then will follow wherever the flow is going to go. So since it rotates that air clockwise, you notice these arrows, it's moving around the high and eventually dropping down low, and noticing, yeah, it's going to go right over us. So unfortunately, as we head later into the week, some of that smoke, as long as those fires keep burning, which it's only about 12% contained, it's going to get here later this week. So for this morning into the afternoon, and that's going to move out. We're not going to see any of that linger, at least for now, and things should be pretty quiet in terms of the smoke. But later into the day on Tuesday, here's Tuesday afternoon. Notice this is at 5 o'clock. If I reach my arm all the way back there, noticing on eastern Oklahoma, some of that smoke is starting to get here. And by mixed 2 words into one. Late Tuesday night into early Wednesday, some of that smoke does reach eastern Oklahoma. Notice it's pretty thick there on the scale, more towards the orange and reds, and that'll continue through the day on Wednesday at the very least. The data only goes out about 48 hours, so unfortunately we're not sure really beyond Wednesday, but for now it looks like it'll extend past at least Wednesday, if not through the rest of the work week. So something we'll keep an eye on and keep you posted about. Otherwise, for those dew points for today, as I mentioned, it's pretty low. It will rise a little bit, especially in the River Valley, more towards the mid-60s. We'll rise a little bit even more so. Wednesday through Friday will be in the upper 60s, some approaching the low 70s Thursday and Friday. And combine that with the fact that the heat is slowly going to be on the rise in terms of actual air temperatures. You combine those two factors, and that feels like it's going to be on the rise as well. Today, many of us are going to be around 90 to 95. Northwest Arkansas might not even hit 90 due to air temperatures only being in the mid-80s. For the River Valley, you definitely could. Tuesday and then Wednesday, we could see maybe that flirt with the triple digits, but Thursday, and especially on Friday, which could be the hottest day over the next 7 days, the humidity, dew points in the low 70s, air temperatures are in the mid to upper 90s, so it's going to feel pretty hot. Not as hot as it was to end July, but still pretty hot nonetheless. Currently, in terms of any rainfall, those chances are going to be pretty limited. You saw that rain off to the southwest near McAllister. That is continuing to move off to the southwest in a pretty gnarly complex in portions of eastern Texas, providing quite a bit of heavy rain and gusty winds. We're not going to see any of that. What we're going to see is those kind of typical popcorn kernel showers and storms, right? They're very spotty, very hit or miss, but could pop up during the afternoon hours over the next couple of days. We'll see what that'll look like on future casts. So that cloud cover moves out, then some of those puffy cumulus move in during the afternoon. And again, it's very isolated. Not expecting much in terms of anything, but something to keep an eye on, that if you're out and about later this afternoon, this evening, keep an eye on the radar. Have that 5 News Plus app handy, because you could maybe see a stray shower or two. That chance will continue Tuesday and Wednesday, and maybe honestly through the rest of the week, but for now it looks pretty much dry through the next 7 days. That'll continue for us throughout the week. The best chance will probably not be until even next week, and even then, things look pretty isolated. Otherwise, the story is the heat slowly building, the humidity slowly building, so yes, not as hot as it was to end July, but it's still going to be rather hot nonetheless.
It's been a pretty mild summer. I kind of feel like, I don't know if that's like factual, but I feel that way.
Yes.
Like it's been mild.
Yes, I was going to say, relatively speaking, we should have been a lot hotter, and so far so good. But again, it's going to get a little bit hotter as we go through the week.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Danny.
Well, in your entertainment news, singer and actor Justin Timberlake revealed that he was recently diagnosed with Lyme disease. In an Instagram post, Timberlake said living with the bacterial infection can be, quote, relentlessly debilitating, both mentally and physically. Since April 2024, Timberlake was on the road for his Forget Tomorrow World Tour. He completed the last show on Wednesday. And singer Stevie Nicks has announced that she's postponing her August and September concerts due to a fractured shoulder. The 77-year-old says that she plans on rescheduling the concerts. Her tour was supposed to start in Brooklyn, New York on August 8th, now to begin October 1st in Portland, Oregon. The one-time Fleetwood Mac member urged people to hold on to their tickets if they plan to attend one of those postponed shows.
Stevie Nicks show, could you imagine? That would be fantastic.
It would. Have you ever been to a Justin Timberlake show?
I have not.
Oh, incredible. He's such a good performer.
Oh, I bet so, but I think I'd rather see Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, I think we've got both crowds out there, right?
Yeah.
But I hope he gets to film
Danny,
better.
what side are you on?
Well, I've only been to 3 concerts in my life.
What?
Yeah, the Amp was the 3rd one.
Wow.
Oh. Okay, but Stevie Nicks, Justin Timberlake.
Gotta go with Tim's.
Oh.
Big NSYNC fan.
People
Sorry,
at home
Bill.
are yelling at you guys.
This is a 5 News Update.
Good morning, I'm 5 News meteorologist Danny Cassie. As we kick off our Monday, not too shabby out there, seeing a little bit of thin cloud cover, especially in the River Valley along and south of I-40. But most of us are waking up to plenty of sunshine, and we'll keep that way through the rest of this morning. Now, during the afternoon hours, like we usually see during the summer, we'll see those puffy cumulus clouds start to develop, and eventually maybe a chance of a very spotty shower during the afternoon. Most of this, I think, will be in elevated areas in the terrain. Again, the vast majority of us stay dry, but we can't absolutely rule it out for us today. Just head through the evening hours. Eventually, that chance will taper off by sunset, and it'll be quiet overnight. Tonight, have mostly clear skies. Wake up tomorrow morning, go do the same thing. Going to feel pretty nice out there. Dew points only in the low to mid 60s. Plenty of sunshine to start. Then during the afternoon, eventually more of those puffy cumulus clouds will build back in. Maybe a stray shower or two. You can see a little bit of a better chance there. You're seeing it a little bit more of in magnitude, I should say, just because I don't have to point it out for you, but it is there. And then eventually, again, Tuesday evening, that'll quiet down for us. Overall, for high temperatures for today in northwest Arkansas, will be in the mid 80s. For the River Valley, most in the low 90s, some in the terrain, though, in the upper 80s, Partly cloudy skies during the afternoon. We'll have that stray PM shower chance. Now, dew points will eventually be on the rise for us. They'll be in the mid 60s for us today and tomorrow, but Wednesday through Friday will be in the mid to upper 60s. And some could be in the low 70s, especially in the River Valley. So unfortunately, combine that with high temperatures on the rise, that feels like we'll be on the rise as well. Today and tomorrow, not too much of a concern, especially in northwest Arkansas. Many of us stay below 90. But in terms of Wednesday, especially Thursday and Friday, it is going to get hotter. The triple-digit heat index returns, and some maybe could be under a heat advisory in the River Valley on Friday. So stay safe out there in the heat. Otherwise, the next couple of days are going to be gorgeous. So enjoy the nice weather. And again, have a great rest of your Monday.
Well, here's what you need to know in your morning rush. If you live in Fort Smith, you're under an emergency phase 2 water conservation. On Sunday, crews responded to a major water main break near Phoenix Avenue and Airport Drive. Now, the city is asking residents to conserve water wherever they can. Lee Avenue in Fort Smith remains closed, and the city said in a statement that the repair is not expected to be completed until today or Tuesday.
And in eastern Oklahoma, crews are updating communities' access to faster internet. If you live in these areas, you know this all too well. The project is using money from federal grants and donors totaling over $58 million. The Oklahoma Broadband Office says this project could help rural Oklahomans who have missed out on opportunities in the digital age. The project is set to be complete by October next year, with $30 million invested in LaFleur County alone.
And with the closing of the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, a local NPR affiliate is launching an emergency fundraising campaign today. KUAF in Fayetteville is launching Bridge the Gap. The goal is to replace the federal funding that's been there for generations. The station says it provides essential services to rural areas, including emergency alert systems that warn of incoming tornadoes. And Danny, what's it looking like for today?
It's going to be another gorgeous day for us. Again, the temperature not too shabby this morning. We're in the upper 60s and low 70s. Later this afternoon, we'll be in the mid 80s for northwest Arkansas. Maybe a stray shower during the afternoon. The majority of us, though, stay dry. The River Valley more into the upper 80s and low 90s, but not much of a feels like because that dew point is rather low. However, eventually we'll get a little bit hotter to end the week. That feels like it'd get into the triple digits as early as Wednesday, especially Thursday and Friday. Won't feel as hot as it was to end July, but still pretty hot nonetheless. But again, generally speaking, it's going to be very nice for us today and tomorrow. Subnormal heat, but that will return as we end the week.
So favorite outdoor activity, Danny?
Favorite outdoor activity? Well, I'm a big basketball guy, so shooting hoops, I guess.
Oh, you gonna go do it today?
I might have to.
There you go. All right, sounds good. And we hope you have a fantastic day. We'll see you right back.